Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today is Saturday, May 25th, and this is my weekly wrap-up. So this was a very special week for me. I was a guest on the Monday Night Live show hosted by Allan at Big Hard Books and Classics and Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads, and it was a great deal of fun. I attend a lot of live streams in the chat, but I'd never been a guest on one before, and I really had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a great deal, so I just wanted to say thank you again to Greg and Allan for inviting me, and thank you to all of you who attended in the chat or who watched the video afterwards. It really was a lot of fun, and I appreciate all of you being there. I've continued this week to make my little poetry shorts each day, and I want to again say thank you to everyone who is watching them and making such lovely comments. I've been really encouraged to continue this little venture because of the appreciative things that people are saying about them. I've continued to read Zadie Smith's newest novel, The Fraud, which is the choice for this month for my live book group. We are meeting on June 11th to have our discussion, and I'll do a review of the novel after my group meets. In support of Horror MAYhem, I continued to devote my Poetry Thursday episodes to the poetry of horror. This week, I focused on the poetry of Edgar Allan Poe, who is most certainly the father or the grandfather of American horror. I also posted a video on my reading of Redfield Jamison's newest book, Fires in the Dark, Healing the Unquiet Mind. I read this for Mental Health Awareness Month, hosted by my friends Kim at Middle of the Book March and Marilyn at Marilyn Maya Mendoza. I had started first Lori Gottlieb's Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, and I mentioned this I think last week. I was having trouble just getting fully engaged by the book. I will finish the book, but because the theme here of this month's mental health awareness is self-care, I decided that for my own self-care, I needed to move on to something that I was feeling more engaged by, and that was Jamison's book. I've read two of her earlier books, and I was fairly sure that I would find this newest one to be an engaging read, and it was. This is an important book, I think, in which Jamison explores the cultural history of the therapeutic process and the qualities that make a good healer. She shares openly again about her own journey with bipolar disorder, diagnosed when she was 17 years old. She also examines several important healers who practiced therapy during World War I with soldiers who were suffering from what was then called shell shock, but what today would most likely be called post-traumatic stress disorder. She also explores the role of the arts in the healing process, and she makes a strong case for the combination of both psychopharmaceuticals and good talk therapy in the healing process. The most important idea that I took away from the book is that a truly great healer knows how to accompany the patient on the journey toward healing. I've continued my participation in Horror MAYhem. Last week in my wrap-up, I had talked about T. Kingfisher's A House with good bones, which I've now lent to a dear friend of mine. This book was recommended to me by MJ at Reading This Life, and I loved the book. This week, on the recommendation of Ollie at Criminale, I read T. Kingfisher's What Moves the Dead. And I really loved this one too. This one, What Moves the Dead, is a novella that was written in 2022. It is set in 1890. The main character is Alex Easton, who is a retired soldier in the Galatian army. Alex is also a non-binary character. Easton is summoned to the ancestral home of their childhood friend, Madeline Usher. Easton was summoned by Madeline's brother, Roderick, with whom Alex had served in the army. Yes, this is a retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's classic horror story, The Fall of the House of Usher. It is apparent immediately that there is something very wrong at the ancestral home. There is something incredibly sinister there. There is a dark, pulsing lake that surrounds the property. The property is also mired in a nightmarish complex of fungal growths. And then there are the hares. Hares, as in like rabbits. These weird, staring animals that seem completely possessed by something sinister, or they're very diseased. Easton encounters this disturbing setting and this disturbing wildlife before even entering the house of Usher. The Usher siblings themselves are living their own nightmarish hell inside the house. Madeline has wasted away and appears to be at death's door. She is basically bedridden and can barely walk, except for her nightly sleepwalking and talking in strange voices. Roderick, convinced that his sister is dying, is also quite emaciated, totally anxiety-ridden, and obviously very ill himself. Alex Easton is joined by an American doctor, Dr. Denton, who has been called in to assist Madeline, and also by Eugenia Potter. Miss Potter is a relative of Beatrix Potter and a local mushroom expert. They are called in to try to help Alex to solve the mystery of this strange ancestral home that seems to be killing its inhabitants. I loved this book too. There are some really creepy elements to the story, and I couldn't put it down. Now I'm reading my third Kingfisher novel, What Feasts at Night. I will probably finish today. This also features Alex Easton, and their assistant, valet, groom, voice of reason, Angus, and also Miss Eugenia Potter is back. I will talk more about this sometime next week or in next week's wrap-up. This novel takes place at Easton's family hunting lodge deep in the forests of the home country, Galatia. Upon arrival, Easton soon learns that the caretaker of the lodge is dead, and the lodge is in a state of disarray. Local villagers are gossiping about a breath-stealing monster that has taken up residence at the lodge. While Easton isn't so sure about these superstitions, it is very obvious that there's something terribly wrong here. I will finish Horror Mayhem by concluding my reading of Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes. And a lot of people have told me that this is their favorite Bradbury book. So this comes to me highly recommended by many people, and most recently by Gareth at Book, Songs, and Other Magic. Okay. I know that I have talked repeatedly for this last month about my hesitant and tentative participation in reading horror for Horror Mayhem. But I have to say that I have really had a blast. It was a lot of fun, and I'm very grateful to all of my friends who have made such wonderful recommendations. So I will be doing a video soon on my pile of possibilities for June and the events that I hope to be participating in. There are 3 events that I am participating in for sure, and there might be a 4th as well. So many more great things to come. If you are observing Memorial Day weekend this weekend, I hope that you are having a good holiday. And as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.